Thank you. All right, number one on the agenda. Welcome.
And the calendar, if you would.
Okay, all right, everyone's, I hope you all feel welcome, yes, we will follow the agenda.
Hi.
A roll call. I don't need the calendar. You have, do we have the sign in over there?
Yes. Who took the cider?
So you said we have Chuck and Marty with the excuse absence,
Can I
right?
have that pen?
Farah,
Oh, here.
We have,
Marty?
Marty and Sylvia, who I
Sylvia.
don't believe
That's
has joined.
Oh, it was under my thing.
Martin Walpoff, he's online and he is on camera. Do we have Sylvia yet? Thank you, Marty. I see you waving. Acknowledge your presence. Sylvia. No. Okay, if she joins in, we'll acknowledge her presence and have her present as excused. Everyone else who's online, welcome.
Do you want to do the roll call? Would you like me to?
This is
Okay.
a shout out who's here. I already said who's online.
Okay, so we have Sergio Villaverde. Margaret Della, who is absent but on Zoom. Joy Campbell Privateer,
Present.
Laura Spalter.
Here on Zoom, but
um,
absent.
Sylvia Alexander. Bob Bender,
Yeah.
David Gelman,
Present.
Mary Ellen Gibbs,
Present.
Edward Green,
Present.
Rashida Hilliard,
I'm here.
Rabbi Bob Kaplan. On Zoom. Okay, Josh Land, Oscar Martinez, Charles Moidler, Daniel Rowan,
Here.
Ramdat Singh, Deb Travis,
Present.
Martin Wolpoff is here.
And
Sylvia Alexander's here.
Oh, and Sylvia, oh, yes,
Get her.
perfect. So Sylvia is here and is present as ADA.
So we do have a quorum.
Yes.
And I want to thank everyone for coming out on this bitterly cold January night, but. You know, your dedication is recognized and appreciated. And hope the pizza's a little token of that. I appreciate it. So I really want to give that as a token of our appreciation that, you know, you guys are here and said it's. But some of us old enough to remember January in New York. They were cold. We've gotten spoiled. But all righty, so the executive committee minutes, they've been sent out and handed out.
Very small things. We have processes. Somebody told you they loved you, we believe you. Look at the straight line, wasn't enough to look what's over. And when I took them on this solution, that's the.
Okay, Mary Ellen gives motion, made a motion to approve the minutes of December 4th.
Second.
2024, second by Bob Bender. Any discussion on the minutes of December 4th, 2024? Seeing, anybody online? No? Okay, seeing no further discussion, we'll call the question. Any abstentions? Anyone in opposition to the motion? Margaret, are you, or Rabbi, is somebody waiting? No, that's just.
Sorry, that's.
Oh, that's just your hand,
Yeah,
right? No.
yeah.
That was a point, Jim. All right, the minutes are approved unanimously. Julie, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Yes,
Okay,
yes, I can.
You're up.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Sergio, for like stepping in. Appreciate it. And Happy New Year to everyone. Wish I were there, but really not because I hear it's cold. Anyway, I'll go on with my report. I'd just like to say that an ad hoc committee will be formed to explore and continue looking into the board structure as far as the committee membership and the structure of committees. A few members have gotten in touch with me and they made some inquiries, so I figured let's get a committee together. Jill Towns and Karen Walker will be doing their research and they'll bring their findings to the Law, Rules and Ethics Committee and the Executive Committee. If anyone has any comments, I'm sure that Jill and Karen will reach out to everyone. Okay. And in regards to committee and committee memberships, one of the feedbacks that I've received from people is that our committees are either the membership is small, or the people aren't attending, that maybe there's too many committees. So in that vein, if you have a meeting schedule, or if you yourself cannot be at a meeting, but you want the committee to go ahead with the meeting, please have your vice chair conduct the meeting so that the board can continue having meetings for the public and the membership. And if you don't have a vice chair as of yet, please get in touch with me tomorrow. I've been trying to reach everyone on the board, so please reach out to me. Does anyone have any questions regarding those two issues? Sergio, I can't see, so you can just tell me if yes or no, okay?
I'm looking around, I don't see anyone online. Any questions for the chairperson so far in her report?
Okay, great.
Seeing none.
Okay, thanks. Irving, and just to let Margaret know, I know Margaret's on the line. Margaret, I will be emailing you all my notes tonight, as soon as we're finished. The Irving Latimer committee will be announced at the board meeting next week as well. For those who do not know, the Irving Latimer, he was a past board member, very active with the board and the community, always sharing, very civic minded. And for the Irving Latimer Award, the nominee has to have acted on a voluntary basis to improve or enhance the quality of life of those living or working in the community board area. And the nomination so far should be submitted by March, and all the dates will be laid out in the coming weeks. The Irving Latimer Committee will be meeting following our board meeting, just to at least do some administrative work. And hopefully our board meeting will end at 8:15 next week. So let's see how that goes.
Are we starting at noon?
You did such a wonderful job, Sergio. You've been setting the pace, so let's see. Let me see. Oh, and at the December meeting, I know that there was an issue raised, and I just want to thank Rosemary. I've thanked her personally. I just want to say publicly, she raised an issue with some resolutions that the board was having in regards to internship, and a concern if we were unintentionally or unknowingly making our intern an employee, which is not what we want. We want a stipend intern. So I am following up with Rosemary's concerns, and I will report to the board once we have all the information.
Thank you for that.
And then in regards to that, because sometimes the resolutions are put together quickly because the treasurer may get a report from OMB. My understanding is that for years they've been late in bringing us the reports on time, and sometimes they throw stuff together, not throw stuff together, just a report, in haste, especially if we only have a few hours, mistakes can happen. So what we've decided to do is with the treasurer's report, if OMB doesn't give the office and the treasury enough time to really sit down and take their time and really do the report, meaning to have at least a weekend to work on it, since we all are volunteers except for staff, if we get a report and it doesn't give staff at least 5 days to work, not staff, the board to work on it for at least 5 days, giving at least a weekend, the report will be the next month. So in January, if OMB doesn't deliver the information that the treasurer and the staff needs in order to do a proper report, it will be given the following month. If anything is urgent to say, definitely it will be verbally expressed at the meetings, but the report itself, to make sure that the documentations and the numbers are correct, it will be the following month. Does
Thank
anyone
you.
have any questions on that? Okay, so
Mary Ellen Gibbs has a question.
I have a question, but as far as the stipend goes for the labor rule, I
Yeah.
I forwarded some information to Farah that a labor lawyer had given me. I had asked him the question about it.
did you,
about paying
I didn't,
stipend.
Farah,
the
did you
employees.
receive that?
Yes, and I spoke to the labor lawyer, who does not believe that that is the case.
Okay,
and
well,
he
we're not
said
gonna go into this like here, but if you could forward that to Joy and myself, whatever Mary Ellen sent you, and thank you, Mary Ellen, for that, because all the information would be great. Did you send it to Joy, Farah? I don't even know.
I'll check, this was before, so I'll check.
Okay, send it to
But I will
Joy.
always send it and I'll follow up with the lawyer on it. I'm just
Okay.
waiting back to me.
Okay, well, we'll discuss this offline, but if you could send it to Joy and I, because I'm looking into this, so I need that information.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay.
Any other,
Okay.
we have a question.
Yes,
Madam Chair. Mr. Gelman.
Julie,
Yes.
just to be clear, since he is our honoree, Irving pronounced his last name as Latimer, not Latimere, and there's only one E in that name, so.
I spelled it Ladimer.
Right, but it's pronounced Latimer, not Latimere. It's not a
Okay.
lake.
There's a
Latimer.
song to that effect.
You say-
Questions for, if there are questions or comments for our chair?
Thank you, David. Okay, and then
Thank you.
let me just go down real quick. Oh, being at the board meeting as someone online, just feedback when we're speaking, because at the last board meeting, and thank you for those who stayed in that cold room. I heard it was very, very cold in there. But the microphones, we really have to use the microphones when people speak, because even in the room, you can hear each other in the room, but when you're on Zoom, it is terrible. You can't hear anything. So we definitely need microphones. And then I just want to thank the past board member and Professor Jillian Baez, who has given our office a temporary intern. We had her for like 2 weeks and she helped out tremendously with some, with one of the committees who needed work. And in 2 weeks' time, she really helped out the Health and Hospital Committee. But just want to thank Toya Jackson and Jillian Baez, our past board member, for thinking of us when they have interns, even if it's just for a week or two, we'll take all the help we can get. Because as you know, we have 2 staff members, so they need all the help that they can get. And just a reminder for the chairs, if you're having a meeting, the staff, we're trying to limit the staff at the meetings for Zoom use. So you'll have to monitor your Zooms. If you don't know how, please let Farah know so that she can act accordingly. And please have your keys available so that you can get in and your members can get into the meetings, into the office at night. Okay, and I think that's it for now.
Any questions or comments for the chair? Any additional questions or comments? No. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Sergio.
So we have chair's report and resolutions as number 4. Is anyone here reporting for land use? Because that one makes.
I guess that's
Uh,
me.
Marty, could we do that resolution first? Because that one's a denial and I may have more conversation.
Okay, the item before you is a resolution. And this has been ongoing for several months, which is very unsettling. The developer, Innovative, which by the way, importantly, has a site on 3111 Henry Hudson Parkway, for which this resolution is being presented, and also at the Van Colton Village. It's the same developer, which raises problems in general. He intends to knock down, there's a mansion there, which I recently learned even existed, Esmeralda. If people have not seen it, they ought to drive by and take a look at it. Can't tell you how many times I've driven by and never even noticed it, but it's a beautiful building. That will be knocked down and put up 7 row houses in its place. We have argued over the issue of tree removal, and I think that the developer has decided to become as bureaucratic as he possibly can be. He cannot tell you what he can do until he talks to the Parks Department about what he can do. And until he says what he can do, he won't tell us what he will do. And we refuse to sign a blank check. And this has been going on for months now. And so finally we passed a resolution of denial. And so, whereas we have no difficulty with the project as proposed, we have difficulty with the intransigence of the developer, who again refuses to speak on his own behalf, waiting for the bureaucracy to tell him what he can and cannot do. So that the resolution before you, I don't think we have to read it. I'm hoping people have read it. If there's any questions, I'm ready.
Any questions from Marty on the land use resolution? We're not voting on it, we're just discussing it. Thank you, Marty. Thank you for the presentation. Who wants to go next, TNT or?
Are you skipping the treasurer's report and the?
No, the treasurer's report is after on the agenda.
No, the committee chairs and reports and resolutions is 7.
I got chairperson's report and resolutions, that's 4.
Right.
Treasurer's report.
I
That
understand
means
that.
if
I don't know why.
the person has a resolution.
Right.
Well, public safety,
Right, public safety has resolutions. We have 2 renewals and 1 new application. The renewals are for Kingsbridge Social Club on 3625 Kingsbridge Avenue. No issues with them. Committee approved it unanimously. The other renewals for Roma Restaurant, 5523 Broadway, same story, no issues, and committee approved it unanimously. The new application is actually a little bit different because it's 4 applications. I'd like to vote on it. As we made it 1 resolution because it's 1 company, which is Gourmet Dining LLC, which is, they're gonna be operating in 4 different locations at in Manhattan College, essentially. It's 4513 Manhattan College Parkway. They're gonna be there in 4 locations. It's gonna be Thomas Hall, Squeary Hall, Kelly Commons, and Dratty Gymnasium. So it's, and they signed 2 AM closing agreement. This is a new caterer that's being used by, they've had other people in the past, but this is somebody new, so they're applying for a new license. And they signed 2 AM closing agreements for all 4 locations during the year, so we approved them unanimously. And those are our resolutions.
any questions for public safety? Yes, I'm sorry, Bob Edmund.
Yeah, I have a question. I read your minutes and I understand you're preparing a resolution, which I think we're not ready to bring before the board at the next meeting. That has to do with the approval of this Priscilla's law about e-bikes and licensing e-bikes and scooters and
That
so
that would
on.
be for next, not
That's
this.
gonna be for the next, okay. I have some thoughts which I can share with you beforehand, or we can wait until you bring the
We
resolution.
can talk.
Okay.
Either way.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for public safety or comments? Okay, seeing none, thank you very much. Traffic and transportation.
The two Zappos. One is the bio bus at PS 315 and they spoke at December 19th to ask for a SAPA for elementary school students. Learn about science topics at the science lab, and that's the PS 315. But they want us to close the street of 2865 Claflin Ave at the lab schools on Tuesday, February 4th from 6 AM to 4 PM. That's the best.
It's a bio bus, just so they know.
A bio bus.
BUS.
What is it?
It's like a lab.
Mhm.
Ah, okay.
Get your hands dirty.
You know, the science, like the science guy,
Any questions?
Bill Nye Science guy.
Is that the only resolution you guys have?
There's another one for,
Or you just, we'll see both of them,
Both?
questions afterwards, yeah.
yeah, SAR Academy. 655 West 254th Street. They want to get a street activity permit, a SAPO, with its 56th anniversary celebration at 503 West 259th Street on Saturday, January 11th, 2025. And restrict curb lane usage, and they're gonna have a valet. So they're gonna park at the dead end street at Netherland Ave. It's from 7 AM to 11:30 PM Saturday. Those are the 2 resolutions.
SAR was asking for a Saturday SAPO?
Yes.
It's a repeat. They did the same event last year. They do it every year.
Any questions with TNT on either of the resolutions? And please keep your voice up in the room so that the mics, yes, Bob, the mics.
Yeah, first of all, I apologize. I didn't read these resolutions before the meeting. I somehow overlooked them. But with regard to the SAPO for the bio bus, I assume that there will be an emergency lane, which is always a condition of a SAPO approval. When you close off the street, you have to leave open an emergency lane in case some emergency vehicle needs to get to a building on that street. So I think it would be good to confirm that that will be the case before we vote on it at the board meeting.
Thank you, Bob.
Any other comments or questions for TNT? Yes, Rashida?
Just for informational purposes, usually when the streets are closed, pedestrians can go through as well. Or
Yes.
would we be prevented from?
And it's just to stop the traffic, pedestrians can go through.
And would that be the same for the bio bus with the kids? I'm just wondering how that might.
Right, so you want the kids near the bus, not wandering around. Yeah, so it will be supervised, like, there would be a teacher there and like, I guess. Not a crossing guard, but like a guard there or something. Supervising pedestrian traffic.
And that's the lower end of Claflin Avenue, I believe.
Yeah.
Where they had if you remember a few years back, they had a child that was killed there. There was a. So it's not, it's a loop, but it's almost a dead end. It's almost a dead end, so I can see why they'd ask for.
By the reservoir.
Yeah.
Right. Any other questions or comments for TNT?
Just so maybe a friendly suggestion is, for the whereas that says restricting traffic at 2865 Claflin. It might be helpful to just give the cross streets, because I assume it's gonna be the whole block is gonna be restricted, right? They'll cut it off at the.
Oh, it's 2865, so it's not the school I was thinking about. This is where the old Our Lady of Angels was.
Oh, it's right up by.
So that's between Reservoir and 190, West 197th Street. That's the cross street.
Yeah, so it'd be helpful if it just said like, that to restrict all traffic on Claflin Avenue between Reservoir Avenue and West 197. That way everybody kind of knows where the barriers will go.
West 290.
West
I'll look at
197.
the application again, because
Thank
it
you.
should have the cross streets on it. So
Okay.
I'll send that to you, yeah.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions for, and I guess that would go for both staple applications, cross streets.
At the intersection.
Yeah, to at the intersections. Any other questions or comments for TNT? No? Thank you for that report on the resolutions, TNT. All right, now, treasurer's report.
Okay, good evening and happy new year. This is the treasurer's report for January 2025. Following the December budget mark, the fiscal year 2025 budget was increased to 25,483, of which 14,302 is left for OTPS. And the breakdown for 1.1, most of which has been spent for code 400. And hopefully this will clarify some of the expenditures for Jalen. So there was 1,000 for July and 1,000 for August. Those are both reflected in October's treasurer's report. And then there was 1,000 paid for her services for the month of September. And that it was reflected in December's treasurer's report. There was also 2483 for the phone bill, $63 for travel. And finally, there is $1,000 for her November compensation and $888 for her December compensation. For code 600, 2,800 is for cleaning services. 1.2, there are no budget amounts. 1.3, the payments for November and December are actually encumbered. They're allocated but not yet paid, and that's 1,888. And 1.4, we now have 2,347 left for rent and energy retail. And that's the treasurer's report for January 2025.
Thank you. Any question on the treasurer's report? Any comments? Okay, thank you. And the district manager's report.
Okay, good evening. I hope you all had a happy holiday and a happy new year. As you know, the board office was closed for the holidays and we did have a very restful and enjoyable week with our families. I hope all of you did as well. And as you can see, the OWL system has now been installed. The sound is so much better already, so we're very happy with it. And as I mentioned before, you cannot move the speakers, they're taped to their spots. And please be very mindful not to get any liquids or food on it, so thank you.
Mom got new furniture.
Gonna get the plastic.
Yes, Mom got new furniture.
The FY 26 Community District Needs Statement has officially been released. I sent it to our budget chair, David, and our chair, Julie. We are awaiting the agency responses, and I did post this on our homepage of our website. I will send it to the full board as soon as David tells me to. Thank you also to the Bronx Botanical Gardens, who gave us 30 tickets to distribute for their annual train show event on January 11th. We distributed them to the children and families at KHCC. They're really excited to go. Last month, I know we didn't really get to, I didn't get to do my report last month at the full board. But last month, we also were happy to distribute 50 tickets to our local family shelter for the annual New York Yankees Winter Wonderland event on December 13th. I also did not get a chance to formally congratulate Artie, our community coordinator, last month for making it through his first year. And I just want to thank him for his commitment and quality of work that he brings to the office and to the whole board. I did hold my monthly district service cabinet meeting on January 3rd. I'll send you the minutes as soon as I finish those, and my next meeting will be on February 4th. Please note our office is closed for Martin Luther King on Monday, January 20th. And I did just send out to everyone that I will be taking off this Friday. So if you need anything, let me know in advance or I'll speak to you on Monday. I did just this morning meet with the team from Con Edison and the outside in the cold again to discuss a larger gas main replacement work they're gonna be doing in our district.
Where's that?
It's gonna be on West 246th Street, headed north. It's different areas, mostly on Henry Hudson Parkway, Service Road, and also north on Independence Avenue. I will have a map and details of the work, which they want to begin beginning of February, and it'll happen for the next 12 to 14 months. I will update the community and Community Board 8 of this work as soon as I get it. Here is I gave everyone a draft of the February calendar. Please give me your comments right away. If you're not having a meeting, let me know. I know that we have to work with the youth committee to reschedule their meeting, so any dates available would be good to know. Also, if you have a different location, let me know as well. And lastly, again, just want to make sure we get our agendas and minutes and resolutions within that 10-day window. It's really, really taxing on this office to keep following up for that, and it just holds everything up here. I know how busy you guys all are, but we greatly appreciate if you could really stick to that schedule. And that is it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for our district manager? David and Bob?
The Con Ed project, is that bringing in high pressure gas to replace oil burning? Because that doesn't
Gas main replacement work, the same kind of work they've been doing. They just did it on 254th Street, I believe, or not 254th. They've been doing it all over our district.
Do you happen to know though if it's for like the big apartment buildings? Because that was a big project about 10 years ago to help get off of dirty oil. They brought in high pressure gas, not little pressure for the stoves, but high pressure for the boilers.
I will ask.
Okay.
But yes.
Because they did it quite successfully. It was very helpful for cleaning our air community.
So I'll just add the back
Bob,
when I
do you
was.
have a question?
Well, no, let them, you're on the same topic, right?
Yeah, I was on the same
Okay.
topic. Back when I was traffic and transportation chair, that was when we did the approvals for the similar type of work down on Claflin and in Kingsbridge Heights. And it was like installing higher efficiency gas lines. So it wasn't like the oil conversions that some of the buildings used to do back in the 80s and 90s. This was more of an upgrade of the existing gas lines.
Which I believe is what that is, but I'll double
Yeah.
check.
Okay.
Yeah, and at the time they said they would be going up to Riverdale and stuff
Mhm.
in the future, so I think the future is now.
Yeah.
All right, so Farah, if you get back to us for the meeting, because I'm sure this is something that'll be of interest to the whole board. As well, so we may, if we know by the meeting time, that'd be great.
Sure.
Thanks. Any other questions on the,
This is an unpaid commercial for the train show at the New York Botanical Gardens. If you've never gone to it, you have no idea what you're missing. It is incredible because forget about the trains. They reconstruct all these buildings from all over the city and it's done entirely from twigs and nuts and all natural materials. And it's incredible to see these replicas, the Van Cortlandt Mansion, everywhere in the city. I would just urge you next year to go. It's astonishing. It really is.
It is nice.
really,
I went on a field trip.
professional, our train operator, monument here?
So he's shaming me. I gotta-
Shaming
I
him,
gotta
he's
go.
never been to.
I gotta
No, you gotta go, man.
I used to work in the Transit Museum building.
Could almost
I go
walk
to the
there.
transit.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Grand Central's there, you name it.
Any other questions or comments on the district manager's report? Thank you very much, Farah. All right, committee meetings, we already did our resolution, so this should be quick reports. If nothing else, then please give us a date of your next meeting, if you have nothing specific other than your minutes. Aging?
Okay, happy new year, everybody. We didn't have a meeting in January. We will have a meeting in the office on February 13th. I'm gonna have Department of Finance, spree, talking about how to freeze your rent after 62 for the older adults. And too many older adults don't know they can freeze their rent, so wanna really get it out there. So,
Thank you, Mary. All right, and if you have any questions, if you have any questions.
I know.
As we go through, just feel free to shout them out. So we'll be a little less formal here. Just feel free to shout them out. Yeah, did you have something with Sheeta for? Oh, okay. No, budget.
Okay, so, we're again, in the throes of, 3 years, but, critically, 2. We are in fiscal, 2025, which ends June 30th. We have submitted based on, our, public hearing in September, we submitted our request for capital and expense budget items to the city. They're getting back to us this week. What Farah was talking about was the district needs statement, which we have to review and comment on their comments. And I don't know if the date has been moved back to February 15th or not. If you could check on that.
Yeah, I put it in an email to them,
Okay.
but they haven't
Because it's
answered.
varied. I think last year it ended up being February 28th because of their delays, et cetera, but approximately then. And we will also have a budget hearing preceding our February board meeting to go over their comments and any adjustments we want to make. And then we need to, well, really, you folks need to make sure that your agendas for January, February, March, and April include discussion of ideas in January for fiscal year 2027 capital and expense budget items. In January and February, you should formalize it to paper, so to speak, or your keyboard if you want. But by the end of February, you should have a list of everything you want to contemplate. In March, you should do a preliminary prioritization of those items, the capital request separately from the expense request. And then in April, decide on it. Again, I think it's good practice to have the committees vote on those priorities, but there's nothing in our bylaws that says that you have to. So you could just simply say, and submit your list. That's up to you as chair to what to do. You are entitled to do that, but I think it's good practice to vote on it. So it should be, these items should be in your agendas, January, February, March, and April, and then make it happen, particularly February and March.
All right, Julie?
Hi, I just want to say, because I go on Zoom a lot and I go to a lot of meetings, and I just like to publicly thank David, because you've been going to a lot of committee meetings and giving guidance to the chairs on the budget. I attended the housing meeting too, and you gave a lot of good advice. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for budget questions, comments? Yes, Rashida.
Hi, everyone. So you mentioned having us vote as a practice. When you say vote, does that mean that in our bigger meetings, we're gonna need to go through like, okay?
No.
does that-
Your committee meetings
Okay,
for your committee's priorities. I think it's good practice to have all the committee members vote on this one, that one, that one, and that one, in that priority order. But there's nothing in our bylaws that says that you have to do that. So I just think it's good, professional practice and a good leadership practice too. So you as chair can decide what you want to do with that.
So in March or April, once you've figured out an order and what's on your list, what the order is, I think what David's suggesting is that it's nice to have a vote of to say, okay, is this the final list? All in favor, aye, or nay, and that way you know you've got consensus for the record.
put it stop stairs. That's basically yeah, I just wanted to make sure it stops there. It's not something where
Yeah,
later
it stops
on
there,
we're
you know,
going
and then
out
you
and
hand it at the.
people are like, well, I think you should.
Well, that's running a meeting. I mean, you may have comments and then you may go back and forth and then, you know, basically you as a group will come up with a priority of these items in the order. And then in April, I believe you should vote on it, but you do not have to.
Thank you. Any other questions for budget? Okay. Economic development, Oscar?
They go.
Hello, good afternoon, well, good evening to everyone. I hope everyone's feeling a little warm. So we had our committee meeting yesterday at Tabala, and it was a pleasant meeting. It's a nice place, very nice spot if you guys have never been. We will be doing a commercial corridor walkthrough of the Skyview Shopping Center, which is directly across the street from where you are right now. And the goal of that is obviously to provide resources and make sure they're aware of what's happening, and also just see current conditions. We've been getting some complaints about things like the pavement and some lighting, so just to see what's going on there. And the committee, well, the board members are free to come as well. So if anyone wants to join, it's going to be a bit chilly. It's going to start at 5:30 tomorrow, Thursday, and we'll be there for about an hour. We're trying to go in and speak to the businesses, but they may not always be receptive. But yeah, that's what we have going on.
Thank you. And your next meeting?
My next meeting will be it's undecided yet. So we haven't decided on a date.
Okay,
Well, you're scheduled for February 4th, Tuesday.
That works.
okay, Farah, did you have something?
I did, I just asked her, I just wanna remind you, you said everyone should meet at the office. And if you could just, for Thursday walkthrough, and if you could just let us know what your needs are for that meeting, because again, the office staff won't be here. So I wanna make sure you have everything you need.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, we'll be meeting in front of the office and then going across the street and doing the walkthrough. Yeah. As far as the office goes, nothing in particular. I may want some printouts, and I'll go to the office prior. So you guys are going to leave the office at 5, correct?
Yeah, just let me know and I'll be here and I'll meet you.
Yeah,
and-
so I'll go there before, probably like an hour before 4 o'clock, and if there's any printouts that I may need, I'll send it to you guys. But thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for economic development, comments? Thank you, Oscar. All right, Sylvia, education and cultural.
Hi, I had a meeting on December 11th. I did not have a quorum, which is very distressing. My next meeting is January 28th, and I hope I have better luck then. That's it.
Thank you. Any questions for education and cultural affairs? Comments? Thank you. Thank you, Sylvia. Environment and sanitation.
Okay, we did not have a meeting in December. Our next meeting will be next Wednesday, when, I don't know, maybe DEP can come. But,
Yeah, I think she's coming, right?
so then DEP is gonna talk about snow removal, which we all had to do on Monday. But, you know, they'll talk about other things.
The
and
booty on
how the
Saturday.
city is responding to it, and what you should do.
Thank you. Yeah, and when did you say your next meeting was, Dan?
Wednesday, next week. So come.
January 15th.
I was trying to figure out the date.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, any questions for environment sanitation, any comments? Nope. Okay. Rabbi Bob. Health, hospitals and social services.
Hope everyone is well. Happy New Year. As reported last time, the last meeting that we had of Health and Hospitals really focused on mental health and the some of the mental health opportunities available from DOHMH. We obviously are having a mental health crisis in New York City, and our next meeting, which will be on January 23rd, will also have some exposition and deeper dive into the mental health issues in New York City. We're hoping to be able to understand it better and how it's affecting our community. Much of the kinds of things that we're witnessing now in the subways and other places obviously have a very deep mental health issue attached to them. So it's something that really is plaguing our city and nation in general. So and that's sort of my report for this very cold evening.
Thank you. Did we get a date?
Yes,
For
January.
the next meeting? Great.
January 23rd.
Oh, yes, we did, sorry. Rashida, Hilliard, housing.
Good evening. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Our last meeting was on Monday, December 23rd, here at the office. We had, visitors from ARC, Ed Gaker and Mike Heller. They spoke about the FISP and parapet laws. And, you can read the minutes if you want to learn more about that. Our next meeting is on Monday, January 27th, 6 p.m. Right now, it is here, to my understanding, and a representative from DOB will be speaking, talking about how DOB helps, or maybe helps, you know, all buildings, including co-ops, condos, and NYCHA, and how they service us. That's what the agenda is on the agenda.
Thank you. Any questions for housing for Rashida?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
just want to, didn't get a chance in December, but I want to thank you for the confusion I created over your meeting in November. They both worked out. Your meeting ended before mine did, but I apologize for stealing part of that date, and all went well. So I thank you, Eddie. I thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Very well, Marty? You can keep the floor, I believe. Land use.
Well, yeah, back to land use. There were two items on the agenda. One we have just discussed and voted on, and not voted on, but acknowledged the first resolution. The second one concerns the other half of this developer and the problems in Van Cortlandt Village. There are in fact three different sides in the Van Cortlandt Village issue. One side is the residents who are very much concerned about what the future holds for them with the development going on. The second side is the developer, him and herself, the entity. And the third is, who knows, no one knows what's happening with Van Cortlandt Jewish Center. The discussion, primarily, we had someone down at the last meeting on Monday who represented the community with respect to Van Cortlandt Jewish Center, very much concerned about what the future looks like for its existent membership and the future of the institution itself. So it's still up in the air. The one difficult piece, as I pointed out earlier, is that this single developer believes that the community board is picking on him. And our issue over the trees seems to not resonate with him. And nobody is being treated like him. It had been the hope that we would be able to have the community sit down with him and discuss some of their outstanding issues with the community boards or the committee, land use special committee, a working committee on Van Cortlandt Village serving as intermediary. He refuses to sit down with us. We don't like him. We're mad at him. Nobody gets treatment like him. And as a result, the valid questions raised by the community are not being addressed. Before the November meeting I just referenced, I had sent to them because the two principals and the developer were going away for the Thanksgiving week and therefore would not be available to come to that meeting. I sent them a list of questions which they responded to. I am now in the process of culling questions from the community and sending it off to the two principals again, hoping to get some kind of response. But he doesn't like us, especially won't like us after we voted the resolution to reject his request. But I still recommend you drive by and take a look at Esmeralda. If I had the $6-8 million, I would have borrowed a couple of dollars from you and bought the house for myself. As far as LRE, there's the meeting is scheduled for Monday. I have canceled that meeting, and the only issue that is coming up is I received a note indicating there's a lot of activity up in Albany concerning the future of the open meetings law. And the meeting this Monday was to discuss some of those issues and take positions on them if necessary. But that will be taking place at the February meeting. And that's it. I'm done.
Thank you. Any questions from land use or LRE? Thank you very much, Marty. All right. Deb, Parks and Rec.
The Parks Committee did not meet in December. Our next meeting is on January 22nd. The agenda, we're still confirming, so we have not finalized it yet. But it will be here at 7 o'clock.
Thank you. Ed, Public Safety.
Public safety meeting met on December 17th. I read the resolutions earlier. We had a Riverdale press reporter was at our meeting and we discussed, I got various complaints about abandoned cars. And they wrote an article about it in the Riverdale Press, and miraculously, the car, a couple of trucks were removed, and I got photos from the 50th precinct with the pictures to prove it. So maybe that's the key to getting things done, is having the paper write about it. I don't know. But so it was good that we mentioned that in the meeting. We also brought up, I had concerns about, I mean, these are ongoing concerns about the State Liquor Authority taking the committee and the board's recommendations seriously. We had a couple of New Year's Eve permits that we disapproved, and I can tell you from a follow-up I had actually today with an SLA rep and a conference call with Artie, that the application, especially the one with the most complaints against it, was approved by them. So, you know, my thinking, this is going, you know, this is a long-term thing. We have very good businesses in this area. There's only usually one or two really bad actors that we get really a lot of complaints about over the years. Overall, the businesses are great. But the couple that, you know, the couple that have problems have a lot of problems and generate a lot of complaints. And we've had hearings on this, people showing up and talking about having their jaws broken and all kinds of horror stories. So, and constant noise. So what do we do about this? I brought this up before, but I'm really just saying this so that everybody on the board kind of understands what SLA's position is on this stuff. When it comes to renewals, even for businesses that have had a lot of problems, they're literally gonna rubber stamp these things for approval. Now, that's not good, but there's a silver lining in there, so this is my understanding from my conversations with SLA. Is that the only way to really, I mean, if they're really that egregious and they're really harmful to the neighborhood, the only way SLA is going to remove them, it's not when the application comes up. They wanna receive complaints as they come in, which means, I mean, if we got a couple of businesses that consistently do this, we need to report these on a monthly basis to SLA, and what they will do is they will send out an enforcement unit to corroborate these claims, because they're not just gonna, if the community, you know, you can just get, anybody can say anything, they have to corroborate these claims to a degree. So the more complaints that come in, the more evidence, and it's not that they get denied at the renewal process, they get put out of business by the enforcement unit who checks these things out. So that's where we are with these. I had really no problem with a one-night permit, but you know, to me, it's a little disturbing if the 50th and we get all these complaints and they're still gonna do it, but I'm more concerned about renewals of businesses, and like I said before, it's really just one, maybe two. That we're gonna get continuous complaints about, so at least we know we have a path with SLA now, hopefully to do that. If we do all that, then, and nothing happens, then I really feel like I'm banging my head against the wall, but at least that's how we're gonna go about this moving forward. So I want everybody to understand, you know, we get complaints and nothing seems to happen, and this is why nothing seems to happen, because seems to be a, you know, a lot of leeway they give these businesses, and they need an overwhelming amount of evidence coming in over a significant period of time for them to have their licenses revoked.
Any questions or comments, Dan?
Why
Bob.
even make them renew if it's an automatic yes, no matter what anyway?
Good point. Well, I have a good answer, I think I have a good answer for that. So what do I just talk about? Creating a paper trail, that's part of a paper trail, denial. So denial at a from our board with accompanied by a list of complaints that the reason we denied them in the first place. Maybe that'll be the straw that breaks the camel's back, or maybe that'll just be another long list of complaints in the line towards getting that business's license revoked if they're not doing the right thing.
Bob?
Yeah, just a comment. I was downtown today. I was coming back up to my house from the subway on the 9 bus, going up Broadway. And going southbound on Broadway was a police tow truck. And on the back of it was a mobile home that has been parked on Broadway since before last summer. And they were towing it down Broadway. And every time I went into the park, I saw this mobile home. It never moved. And so, you know, regarding what you said earlier about the trucks and all that, somebody's getting serious about this sort of
Depending
thing.
where they dropped it afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to, all I know is it's not where I've been seeing it the last 9 months.
Yeah, it's probably over at Golden.
Yeah,
exactly.
maybe it's on your block now, right?
Yeah, golden there.
Any other comments or questions for Ed? Well, a couple of things I have to say that, yeah, we had that issue with the trucks parking around Goulden next to us, next to the water system. And, you know, people said, you know, the 5-0 said, oh, we don't have the resources. It's the New York City Police Department, the greatest police department in the world. If that parked in Times Square, it would not spend half an hour there. They could move it if they have the will to do so, which is what's been always one of my issues that we need to challenge more than just accept answers. But I know, and I recently had a meeting in another context with the SLA. And I know as we've seen, one of the things that people seem to be very successful in their defense is that this is not related to me, this is a blanket policy. So like when, you know, we've had trouble when people challenge the 2 a.m. closing that we impose. Because they say, well, it's not because I'm a bad actor, it's just their policy, that's why they said no. And I think that what my concern was last month about the closings, about the openings rather all night, was that we were saying that no, because we were gonna say no. Because the precinct felt that that any overnight permits would be bad, which kind of gives license, unintended, to the applicants to say, yeah, see, this is not because of me, they're just saying no, because at the meeting they said 5-0 doesn't want it. And the third point is what I often raise at the meetings is that it's not just the complaints, it's the follow through in the due process, because people get tickets. those are public, what's the findings on them? And I think, for too often we rely on, well, the 5-0 says they're good or the 5-0 says they're not. And that probably won't carry the day at the SLA. So I think, we do need to ask a few more questions. Well, what happened? If they're bad actors, have you given out any summonses and what has been the result? Because if it's the 5-0 giving the summonses out, it's their officer. They go to court or the SLA and they know what the result is on the spot. I think, I think documentation is gonna be key in making it very specific to that one problem business. As opposed to general blanket policies, but that's my comment on it. Any other, I'm sorry, Mary.
As far as the, removing trucks and abandoned, I made a good practice. We were having some really questionable trucks being parked on West 235th Street for a while. And right across the street from St. Gabriel's, and it was still open. So I just kept calling 311, and lo and behold, they towed away those trucks, because they were kind of really questionable, whether they were drugs on there or whatever. It was just like, I forgot what they were, but they had all kinds of stuff on the trucks, and it wasn't what it was shown to be, but they, you keep calling 311 and that paper trail, and they actually removed them.
Yeah, there've been there's a lot of 311 reports about the trucks. Yeah.
And please keep the office
Yes,
involved,
your point's
because
well taken.
Farah and the staff are very good at following up on the 311 calls that we make. So if your neighbors make them, make sure we get the numbers. If we make them, make sure we have the numbers and we email the office, because that's I found to be a very effective way.
And I tell them on Facebook when I have a complaint, to get 311 number and call it into the community. board.
Exactly, that's the advice. Ed,
I'm just gonna add one more thing quickly, because a board member asked me about this, so, also with the SLA, there's a temporary retail permit given, and the question was, what is the temporary retail permit? What are the details behind that? So it gives a business 6 months to operate temporarily, because it's a lot of red tape and bureaucratic stuff, where the license is not gonna get approved until 6 months, so they give them that 6-month leeway period to operate before all the, red tape is going through, and that's also a period where if something comes up, if complaints come up, they won't issue them the license, so that's actually probably the best opportunity. If somebody starts out and just, they're a wild place and their people are, complaining and they're disruptive, that's a period of time where they could be, SLA wouldn't grant them the license, and that's coming from the horse's mouth. The rep told me today.
I have a question. Do we, maybe for Farah or for you, when they give out the temporary retail licenses, do we get notice of that? Those interim ones that Ed's
You mean if
talking
it was
about?
approved or not after a vote?
No, the temporary, like when they give out the license that Ed was just talking about, does the board get notice of that?
No,
I
nothing.
don't think so. We just have to notice that there's a business open and running. Because I don't think, until the license comes before us, I don't think that we would get notice. Anyway, I think
Yeah,
that's
we
something,
only get the application
Right.
for us to comment on, and after that, we don't receive anything.
I guess that would be a good thing to look into, see if there's a way to do that. Thank you, Ed. Any other questions or comments thank you for that very good report.
Secretary.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I want to backtrack, because we went quickly. Parks, I understand that it was a very big issue over the last 2 years, and I understand that the Van Cortlandt House Museum now has a new executive director. Have you met with her or spoken with her, or gotten any insights into her direction, her plans, whatever?
Yeah, she came and made a presentation in September, so I refer you to the September minutes and the YouTube. Yeah, she was great. She came and made a really good presentation.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, traffic and transportation.
Yes, we had Riverdale Press show up at the December 19th meeting. And we discussed the SAPO. And then there was a different SAR SAPO. We voted on it and we had an executive meeting December 19th, and then we will be meeting again on Thursday, the 16th.
Okay, good. Any questions for TNT?
Legal executive meeting.
Think. Any questions or grumblings for TNT? Thank you. Thank you.
Julie has a question.
Oh, Julie, I'm sorry. Julie, we share a hand.
She's going to say.
You're muted, Julie, I think.
I'm sorry about that. Oh, no, I just had a quick question for Josh. If we could touch base tomorrow, is tomorrow's good for you?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'll give you a call then, maybe about noon is good for you?
Yes.
Okay, great. Give you a call then. Thank you.
Wonderful. Call me maybe. Whatever happened to her? We'll
One hit
investigate,
wonder.
we'll investigate that afterwards. All right, youth. Ramdot is, there he is.
Hey everyone, happy new year. Sorry I can't be there in person today. We do not have a meeting this month in observance of Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. However, we're coming into another issue in February where our meeting will typically be on the third Monday, but it's President's Day. So if your committee is not meeting, please let us know so I can rework our committee meeting dates. And yeah, we have some exciting things happening on youth. So hopefully in February we'll have a meeting. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Any
And
questions?
Rhonda, you have, just so you know, the 27th is open for you if, unless that doesn't work.
January?
Of February, the
Okay.
Thursday.
Any other comments or questions for Ramdot and you? Negative, okay, our special committees, special committee on the Greenway.
Well, we are going to have a meeting. We just have to schedule it. I was sitting here looking at the February calendar and I said, oh, look at that, the 27th is wide open. But apparently the 27th is not wide open anymore.
We'll work it out.
Okay, if the youth committee meeting does not move to the 27th, would you reserve it for the Greenway Committee?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, anybody here for Scree? Margaret?
We have a meeting tomorrow.
Wonderful.
Remembering the word.
Okay. So any questions for Scree? Okay. Veterans Committee, I believe, is next. When is our meeting?
Your meeting is the January 30th, Thursday.
January 30th. Okay, and we will see everybody there at the Bronx Ed House. If you'd like to go out to the community. And see if the veterans come out and tell the veterans to come out. Good time, it's a good meeting to go to, FYI, in addition to taking care of substantive community business. All right, so are there any other committees I've missed? Any special committees? No, right? I've got Greenway, Screen, veterans. That's it. So moving right on. Thank you everyone for those reports. They were both efficient and informative. Any unfinished business? I guess that's old business. No, you were saying any unfinished business? Anything we haven't finished in life, we missed last year? No.
Bucket list.
The bucket list, yes, okay. I went to a volcano, so that's finished. Any new business? Anything we haven't discussed that's pressing for the executive committee? Negative, nobody online, okay. Our next executive committee will be the 5th day of February, 2025. Now, at this point, a motion to adjourn would be.
We're not doing 10? Is there no issue? Is there no issue
Executive session.
for an executive session about personnel?
It's still on. It's still on the
I'm sorry,
agenda.
It's still on the agenda. Was that supposed to be there?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, David.
Then whose iPhone?
oops.
Who is on the iPhone? Someone called in on an iPhone? I'll just move it to the waiting room, so you don't have to worry.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm gonna pause the recording. You have to vote first to go into.
Yeah, we need a motion to go into executive session. And a second and then we do that. All right, so Bob, Rashida. Moving second, any discussion on going into executive session? Seeing none, any abstentions? Anyone opposed? All right, we will move into executive session now. I'm not clear.
Week at the board meeting, we will go into executive session again. Is that correct?
Yes.
Julie's shaking her head in the affirmative.
Okay.
Is this recording?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, we're out of executive session.
Okay.
We should grab Farah.
We should grab Farah's,
Yeah,
it is recording, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
you can come back and watch us adjourn.
Yeah.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
And what time is it? What time are we back in?
8:26.
8:26, we're back in. Farah, we're gonna adjourn now. I'm just saying, no, in case there's something legitimately that we're gonna be
You don't
adjourned.
have any other topic, right?
That's it.
I took it.
Oh.
Is that correct, Farah?
Yes.
Because I unpaused it.
You're good.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
Stop the
Second.
Okay, Mary Ellen
recording.
moved.
Start.
Wait, Josh.
I did.
Is it recording?
Yeah, I unpaused
And
it.
now it's stopped.
Right.
Okay.
And